Comes a moment when the universe stop taking notes and start taking action. That's the moment you're in right now, chosen one. Brutally honest, what you went through wasn't a misunderstanding or coincidence or unfortunate uh, streak of bad luck. No, no, no. It was calculated, coordinated, crafted with intention by people who thought you are too blind, too soft, or too forgiving to ever realize what was really happening. They didn't just fail to show mercy, they chose not to. Mercy was never even in the menu. And here's the part: when you sit on a table and you don't know where you're sitting, yes, you'll become on the menu. Yes, those people has decided to get rid of a prophet. Yes, a prophet. They thought they can get away. Well, they imagine themselves they can get away. That's the disconnect that the enemy live in, believing that their cruelty, that it will vanish because you didn't immediately act or retaliate. Life doesn't work like that. Energy doesn't work like that. And karma definitely doesn't work like that. And you don't need to retaliate on these people. Yes, the universe was documenting every detail like a top tier investigation, huh, with nothing but time and cosmic receipts. And now those records are processed. What's funny, if we can call it that, it is how shocked they look now. The same people who bold enough to target you with precision hurt or are suddenly confused when consequences come knocking act like me? What did I do? As if their entire personality wasn't an ongoing demolish project of breaking your peace. They planned the chaos, but they never planned the aftermath. Chosen ones don't rise quietly. They rise with the echo of everything done to them. Their elevation ain't random, it's a response, a divine reaction to intentional harm. And whether your enemies admit it or not, they can feel the shift. They can sense that something is turning against them, something they didn't expect, something they absolutely cannot control. This is not just karma. This is not just justice. This is the universe returning the energy they thought it was lost in the dark. And trust me, this is the path they never saw with coming. They miscalculated because they only study your wounds, not your wiring. And I spoke about spiritual wiring. That's how you know your enemy is not connected to spirit God. They measure weakness, not realizing the strength lived in different places entirely. They saw the moment of confusion, frustration, sadness, exhaustion, and built an entire strategy around those snapshots. In their mind, your wounds were your identity. They assumed that if they poke at the places you were already bleeding, you will finally collapse. But they never took the time to understand what you're actually made of. They didn't look at the inner wiring that kept you moving when even life hit harder. They didn't notice how your spirit organizes itself every setback. They didn't realize your pain is not your breaking point. It was recalibration. When they were studying the surface, your soul was doing deep construction without making noise. Your enemies believed your silence meant overwhelming, or your quiet season is weakness, or if they finally succeeded, they mistook the pause for surrender. But they didn't understand that your wiring is built from endurance, growth, and comebacks. You don't fall apart, you reassemble stronger. You don't stay stuck, you process, purge, and rise with a better clarity. They underestimated all of that because they were too focused on what hurt you and instead of what heals you. They built an attack on a wrong version, calculation based on outdated information and dogmata belief. Send him an entity, send him an entity to attach. Oh, Habibi, this kind of entity, you send it to low vibration people like you, to people that have dark, that do dark magic on dark people. it will latch. You know, you can send this entity to a hole. You know, this is not a hole. You know, there's nothing to latch on. You know, the ancestors said no ties with this person. Yes, you can send these shit to somebody who's wired, built with resilience. And now they're dealing with the consequences of betting against someone who's designed to rise. Their cruelty is not random. It was an attempted identity rewrite. What they did to you is not just hurtful, it is strategic. People like this don't attack your life, they attack your sense of self. They go straight for your confidence, your voice, your worth, your perception. Because if they can distort the way you see yourself, they don't have to lift a finger to destroy your future. Their goal wasn't just to make you uncomfortable, it was to rewrite the story you believed about who you are. Every insult have a purpose. Every betrayal have a target. Every moment try to embarrass you, silence you, belittle you, or make you doubt your intelligence was a deliberate attempt to weaken the foundation of your identity. They wanted you to internalize their lies until you couldn't recognize the truth anymore. They wanted you to believe that you were smaller, less capable, and less valuable than you really are. Their cruelty wasn't emotional impulse, it was psychological construction. When somebody try to rewrite your identity, they will trip slowly. They don't come always big with dramatic big attacks. They do it subtly. A sarcastic remark, a dismissive look, a joke that wasn't really a joke, a tone that suggested you were not enough, a reaction that hinted that you were doing too much. Yes, you're doing too much. You're breaking generational curses, you know. And here they come. Here they come with their invitations, and you know, if they can, then they can, you know, you know, we're busy. We're busy, we're untouched. The selfish identity isn't built on their opinions, it's been built on experience, growth, spirituality, resilience, and the internal knowing that you are divine and things that they cannot themselves access. Yes. Their attempts to rewrite who you are highlighted how powerful your original blueprint is. Every time they try to bend your identity, your spirit snapped back into place even stronger. This is why their actions are haunting them now. The identity they try to damage is the one that's standing in the light, exposing every lie that they ever projected onto you. Their plan failed because your identity is not editable, it's not negotiable, it's not up for grabs. They try to create a lesser version of you, but all they did is they reveal a greater version. They mistook your endurance for permission. The people who hurt you convince yourself they are okay with the behavior simply because you didn't immediately react. They assumed your patient meant approval. They interpreted your silence, your weakness. They genuinely believed that because you didn't explode or confront them on the spot, you were fine with the way they treated you. That's how small their understanding is. They thought endurance made agreement. What they never understood is that chosen ones don't respond instantly because they operate from a deeper place. You're not impulsive. You're not quick to chaos. You don't fight every battle you invited to. You don't explain yourself to people who are committed to understanding you. Your endurance is not passiveness, it is discernment. You know when to speak and when to stay quiet. You know when to step back and when to move forward. You know when to fight and when to slay. Yes, because you know what to drag you to a level. Yes, they mistook emotional maturity for fear. I know, Habibi. No, no, no. Ain't a lack on strength at all. I can push a little further. Go ahead and do. They kept testing limits without realizing you're keeping records. Not out of spite, but out of clarity.